Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. It's not football season yet, and I'm looking at the wrong camera. It's not football season yet, but three familiar faces here on your screen. Welcome to what is the inaugural show of the Roundtable movie podcast. You may be familiar with Nick and I from Popcorn and Parachute Pants, that, of course, being an 80s movie centric. This is going to be all genres, all ages, all eras, whatever. We might even do some silent film at some point, and then we won't give any commentary. We'll just sit and look at the camera like. But anyway, I'm here with my lovely co-host, my lovely co-host here, right over here. That way, I don't know which way I'm pointing the camera. Over here is Miss Delilah Crespo. Hi, Delilah. How you doing there?
Hey, what's up? Hello, everybody.
And then down there, I moved the cameras around. I don't know which way to point anymore. Y'all know her as the lady that likes to try and get me to crack up on screen. I call her Puka, but her real name is WR.
Hi guys.
She's like, hey, what's up? I don't even have it. It's right there in the thing in the corner. I don't know what it is. Anyway, today's movie, ladies and gentlemen, that we are going to talk about, we kind of got, the idea, the reality of the situation is once football ends, we kind of all go our separate ways and do our fun stuff. And Tina tours the whole globe in like 12 days. And the reality of it is I hit everybody up and I said, the real talk, y'all, what it boils down to is I miss y'all. So let's get together and do something. And so here we is. Here we is. Here we is. Here we is. And today's movie that we're going to be talking about from 1999. You all know it very well. It was one of the best-selling movies of the year, starring Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz in the lead roles, along with Arnold Vosloo, Voodoo. Call him whatever you want to do. Ladies and gentlemen, The Mummy. Ladies, what are we feeling about this movie? Just off top.
I love the Mummy series. Yeah, at least the first two anyway. I think they're really fun. It kind of reminded me of kind of that Indiana Jones vibe, like really just fun, action, adventure. I really like Brendan Fraser. I first movie I saw him in was Encino Man, so it was kind of cool seeing him older and like debonair, So yeah, I like him, and I especially connected with Evie, the librarian. I thought she was hilarious, and I saw myself doing something like that where I knock over. By the way, that is like uh, one of my greatest fears is doing exactly that, knocking over like shelves of bookcases or something. But I adored her. I thought she was fun. I thought it was kind of cool seeing a lead actress in the 90s like be just as fun as the male counterpart, like you didn't really see that in the 90s. And so it was kind of fun to see her being smart and funny and like the give and take. So yeah, I those movies.
Tina, kicking it over to you.
I mean, it was four movies in one. You had the action adventure, you had the rom com, you had the horror flick in aspect to it, and then you just had like the general Raiders of the Lost Ark thing. Because that whole we're going
Yeah.
on an adventure kind of stuff, all of
Uh-huh.
it together. Um, I have to give a shout out to him, and this I was going to ask you guys. Uh, my favorite character in the movie, and I loved Brandon Fraser in Rachel Weisz. Like they had chemistry,
They
like
did.
it worked. And but like Jonathan's my favorite character in the whole thing.
He
Oh
was
man.
funny as heck.
Like I was watching some clips last night, and I have to put this forward to you. You know the clip when they're on the camels and they're driving during they're at night and
Yeah.
everything, and the jailer falls asleep and he just goes whack, and
Yeah.
people are like, did he do that on purpose or did he just like I
Oh,
love
he was hilarious.
his line is like, I lie to everyone. And she's like, but I'm your sister. And he's like, you're just more gullible.
Yes.
Yeah, and
I
for sure, she definitely was.
he
For
was
sure.
the best. I thought he was a better comic relief than Benny. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I don't
I
know.
put them
That's a tough
together.
one.
I put them
no,
even.
I just feel
Yeah.
like I don't know. I feel like that was. I feel like it was too. I don't know. I don't. I feel like they had two jesters, and I didn't think we needed two jesters. I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's like the only thing was like, do we need two of the same type of like someone that cuts attention? Because that's basically what they're for, right? That's what the comic.
But
That's kind of
but
what
the
they're
two.
for. So I don't
Do you,
know if we needed both exactly.
do
Um,
you think though? Do you think though that maybe where Benny was just the guy that was just the opportunist that was out to get whatever he could get? Like I'm gonna be on whoever, whatever side is winning. That's it. That's the team I'm
That,
gonna be on. Where
well, they were
Jonathan,
both opportunists. That's why they were always grabbing the same thing. That was like the whole
right? But
joke.
I think with Jonathan it was more of a not so much an opportunist as I almost want to say an Indiana Jones type deal where there was some, he wanted to know and feel and touch and see, but like Benny was gonna have it on Pawn Stars like the next day, and the guy's gonna look at him and go, "Best I can do is 350." You know, I mean, I absolutely loved Benny because Benny just, I mean, like this clip here, which we have, and it's not doesn't have any sound, but the clip, the one for me that set Benny off as the comic foil in this movie for me was just here, where he meets with Imhotep, and
pick
he
a
just
Right.
immediately
religion.
starts. He just started switching religions. He was just like, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
Ie Jesu Domine. La, 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 la. Like he was just
Right.
from one to the other, all the way across the board. And yeah, that guy, he
Well, you know how I looked at the two of them is generally they didn't share a lot of screen time.
right.
So they were the comic relief in their own way and in their
Yeah.
own arcs.
Hmm.
So, like Jonathan was running around with Evie and those guys, and yeah, trying to find whatever gold he could find and everything.
Exactly.
And then Benny's just Benny's trying to steal whatever he can, and ends up going, "Oh shit, I
Yeah.
gotta make friends with this guy,
Steal
or
and
I'm
survive.
going to
Steal
get
and
the life sucked out of me."
Hmm.
So, the but like the show was just it had comic timing. All of it was really good.
Yeah.
But there are like scenes, like I watched a synopsis of it. There's like a couple of scenes in there that you can definitely see with Brendan Fraser, like why he was in Encino Man. He's just weird faces and everything. But I mean, it was tight. The
Hmm.
storyline was tight.
It
The
was fun.
acting was tight. And even in like if you look at like the action sequences, like
Yeah.
when Benny and Brandon are first go to Hamanoptera and they show the what's their names? It's totally
A knocks on the moon.
no, the people that are protecting.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ah,
Um
The Bedouins.
yeah, they have a name and I can't not remember what their name is.
I thought they were. I mean, I just call them Bedouins because that's basically what
No,
they
they
were.
had an actual name.
No, for the order, I know, but I'm saying that's who they were modeled after. So that's I'm like the
Yeah,
Bedouins.
they're the yeah. But like when they had that scene where they were coming in on all those horses and everything,
Yeah.
you could see those were real horses and real actors in that.
Right.
So like the the action sequences were good, and especially like defeating the mummies,
Yeah. Oh, they were
well,
the Magi. They were the
the
Magi.
magi. Yep,
the
that's it.
one for the one for me though, the definitive scene for me was the sandstorm.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
CGI was
with
pretty good
Winston.
for 1999. Yeah.
Yes, I was just gonna. I was going to say like
Yeah.
for the CGI for that for
Time.
1999.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other movie I think that had better CGI than this was The Matrix, and
Yeah.
and you're talking about a global blockbuster
Right. Right.
sci-fi film in The Matrix.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this scene right here, not so much this because this is easy peas. But then when
Oh, when it
Imhotep
turns into the face,
when
and
Yeah.
when Imhotep brings that sandstorm across the top and
Right.
yeah,
then brings his face out, if we
Yeah.
can get to that part.
That is a good shot.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching this. I think I went to I did go see this one in the theaters, and I was like,
Yeah.
yo, that's dope.
They
I
definitely had a
came
good
to this one later. I saw it at home. A friend of mine had seen it, and I hadn't seen it yet, and I absolutely loved it. Like
I
we wore
rewatched
the
it.
tape out. But even like the CGI with the mummies and stuff,
Yeah.
like and the different mummies and like the mummies like crawling up the walls
Yes.
and coming down and even just some of the funnier aspects, like some of the heads on the mummies were spinning around and like being taken out, and
Yeah.
then even Moon when she comes back and she's still the mummy and everything.
Right.
Like there was some really, really, really good special effects in the movie.
No, I
I
thought it was
mean,
fun. And
he still
like, why
looks.
are the four main people also so insanely attractive? Like, people make fun of that too. Like, there's memes everywhere about that. Like,
Well,
what's going on? Like, we're like, why were they so insanely good looking? Because it was like you had Evie or Brendan, then you had like the actor. I used to call him Billy Zane. You know, I used to confuse them, even though I know they're not.
Yes.
So
and Odette Fair.
and even Ardith Bay, the Magi, he was very good looking. I'm just like,
Uh-huh.
what the hell is going like this
They
guy?
wanted people to watch the movie, Delilah. I'm just
No,
saying.
it's just funny because usually it doesn't work out like that. We're all like, you know what I mean? Like usually you have maybe a couple, like the main characters or whatever. But this was like,
So
okay,
one of the commentators I said that there was 3 good looking Brandon Fraser characters. So you have him when he's the soldier in the Foreign Legion, then you have him when he's in the jail, and then you have him when he gets clean cut.
and
So
we're
there
like,
wasn't just 4, there was 7. Good.
technically, yes, I guess as he moves through the film. But it was
But wait a
like,
minute. Did he pass your litmus test, Tina? Did at any point, I don't remember, did at any point he have on a
No,
little too
clothes weren't
small?
that way.
Huh?
no,
Clothes weren't that way.
I liked him more as the adventure guy with
Yeah,
the 6 shooters. That was a good one to
yeah,
me.
I did too. And just like little details, like I didn't even notice this until we rewatched it for the show, and then also watched commentary. Like the point where the Magi are going to come into Evie's room and they open
Yeah,
up the window and he shoots them before
yeah,
they like. You see him, you got to look for it, but he looks and he sees the candle flicker, and that's when he knows to turn. That's the type of detail in this
yeah.
movie
That's
that they
cool.
went into. Like, it's this Raiders of the Lost Ark 1920s adventure film, and you would
Yeah,
go back each week to get the new twist on it and everything, get the new episode installment or whatever you called it. But yeah,
Right.
yeah, I liked it. I really liked it, and that's the reason why when Mummy 2 came out, I was like, I'm in. I'm gonna go see this one in the movie theater.
yeah.
So yeah,
I feel like they did a nice job of showing us new aspects too in the second one, but that they also like kind of peppered in the first one, and we just never like
Well,
paid
you
attention,
can't.
which is
Well,
kind of cool.
with any good sequel, you have to have
Yeah,
some sort of tie-in to.
yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
I don't know if somebody did a spoof or a spoof theory of sequels in another movie somewhere, but it's like the third movie you can kind of throw everything out the window and start over. But the first 2, I think it
Yeah,
was Scream. Wasn't it Scream where the kid was
mhm,
talking about how the whole
yeah,
sequel things work with the movies?
yeah,
Right. So the first 2 have got to have some kind of tie-in. You
yeah.
got to bring all the characters back and rehash a piece of the story. And oh well, you thought you killed me, but yeah, this is the piece of the crust you really needed to kill me, whatever, right? And it's like, hey, dummy, that
Yeah.
was tinfoil. I got the real one. Yeah, whatever. So you have to tie some of it back.
Plus, I also find it funny that like the pairing, of like this super wealthy like aristocrat, like she basically became his like sugar mama, basically, even though they're the same age, because she was the one with the money.
Well, she had the money and the status, and she had the knowledge and all of that.
Yeah.
And she was the smart one in the first film, and kind of naive.
Yeah,
a little naive about
really,
some stuff.
Yeah, but still really smart. And
yeah, and then the second one, it became more about her because of the past life kind of stuff that they got into. She became more of like an adventurer, like showing like why she would be, she'd be connected up with, gotta forget what his name is, Rick, in the movie. So the funny thing is there's, I got to see if I can find the name of there's an Egyptian mystery series that I was reading, and so much of the movie reminds me of this series because it's two Egyptologists. So the man is the Egyptologist, and the woman is from a wealthy family whose father dies. She inherits all the money, so she decides she's going to go to Egypt. And then they end up having their adventures with these various mysteries that always, of course, revolve around like some Egyptian artifact getting stolen or something like that, or some huge crazy thing. So they end up getting married, and then they have a precocious little boy child.
I get it.
That's smarter than anybody.
Like the second one with the little boy. Yeah.
I was like, by any chance, I mean, I got the whole thing with them bringing back like Anaxunamun and Imhotep because of what had happened. That creates the perfect setup for the sequel. But like the little boy, I was like, seriously, did someone read these novels? Because like you have a more perfect setup than this. And then the third,
I think there's.
We all know, you guys know why she wasn't in the third, right? Rachel Weisz.
I know. I just thought she just didn't want to do it, but I didn't.
She was only contracted for 2 films.
Yeah, so I didn't.
And when she did the contract, she wasn't as well known, and then she got to be known, and they asked her to come back, and she said, they were essentially like, "What's your price?" And she said, "Nothing. I'm not coming back again." So, it just was I liked the idea of it.
Yeah.
Because that's an interesting, because of using the tomb and all of that in China. And
I agree.
But it just didn't come off well.
Yeah. I
you know what?
I actually agree with you about the different types of mummies, right? Like mummies are not just an Egyptian thing. So I did like that part as well. But they were like, well, mummification wasn't just something seen in Egypt. And so I thought that was kind of cool. For the third one, I did like that they explored Chinese, like, lore and like, and Chinese mummies and how they kind of, their practice in that. I thought that was cool too.
Well, fun fact, according to canon, as far as the timeline of when all of this took place, next year will mark the 100th anniversary when Evie opened the Book of the Dead and began getting work on Imhotep.
That's funny.
So
when don't read from the book.
No, don't read from the book.
Librarian. And there's always an old man, I swear to God, and all these were like and then of course, like how each book isn't what it's supposed to be. Like the Book of the Living is the one that it's like okay.
Oh man.
But I also like the part at the end when they're running away and Jonathon trips and the book goes sliding in, and he's like, "But the book!"
Yeah, I love him. I like that he remembers, like, I know this is the second one, but he remembers like the symbol because he's not as good as his sister because she was the studious one, right? She's the one that actually cared, and he was just like bored of it all, like, right? He was like, he did play like
the boy that was going to get the money, and
he played your typical like nobility, like wealthy, like I'm just like hanging out. I just, I don't care. Like they sent me to the best schools, but I don't really care about school, like
Right.
Yeah, I don't have to go to school. I'm
I
gonna
mean, he
get
did.
through
He had
no
no
matter
choice,
what.
right? He just didn't pay
Yeah.
attention.
Just had to wait for Daddy to die off, and then he was going to get the money and the title, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
So,
Ooh,
yep.
the thing with the kind of sort of knowing the symbiogy, also another nod to the Raiders franchise. Which one was it? When they were in the underground, uh,
Tanis.
under Venice, and she says, "Oh, what's that?" And he goes, "It's the Ark of the Covenant. Are you sure?" "Trust me, I'm sure." Like it's just a little head nod,
Right.
a little head nod over here
Of
to
course.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
You
So,
kind of have to you have to give that whole series a nod, right? Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
God, Raiders of the Lost Ark was so, not to get off the topic of the movie we're
Let's
discussing,
go.
but
no, I mean, but that's kind of where,
Raiders
yeah.
Raiders was so ahead of its time. I mean, think of all the lookalikes and plot alikes that came.
Yeah.
I mean, how long was it after Raiders that Romance in the Stone came out? All of a sudden, all these swashbuckling loners were out, and then they run into some damsel in distress who turns out to be a pretty badass herself.
We
And
cannot go into Romancing the Stone. That's a whole other
right, but we'll,
episode, and I love it.
we'll put a pin. We're gonna put a pin in that one for later. That might be another show.
But I have to tell you guys this story about Romancing
love
the Stone, though. I love that movie. I love that movie. So when that came out, I was with my youth group, and I got to pick the movie that week that we went to go see. And all I knew from Romancing the Stone was what was on TV. I did not know about half that move, what was in that movie. I was sitting there with 4 boys for my youth group and the youth pastor looking straight ahead at 12 going, oh, I'm going to get in trouble for this.
I mean, there wasn't
I didn't know there was gonna be a mudslide in this.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like
Mudslide's fine. How about
there wasn't
end of it?
there wasn't too much craziness in there. I didn't think.
No, but if it's a church youth group and they've got the bed scene and everything,
so I'm like, there wasn't like they didn't go.
No, there wasn't much. But when that came out, I was kind of like, I'm gonna eat my popcorn.
Most of it was alluded to, which was very well done.
Oh, I have my little mule.
Oh my god. Okay, but yeah, no, you're right though about Raiders of the Lost Ark, like setting the tone of like adventure films, and then in that way.
And then you had the space ones, the space adventures, not Spaceballs. What was the other one? Oh God, I can see it. Like Ice Pirates or something like that. There's all these movies that just went from that genre, and they were able to show that it would work. And I think Raiders wouldn't have done as well without Star Wars a few years before that.
Well, no, because that's how Steven Spielberg.
By then Harrison was a household name.
Yeah,
right.
And then by then, Steven Spielberg and
George Lucas,
because people forget that George Lucas was also involved with the Indiana Jones franchise.
And you cannot mention those two.
It wasn't just Steven Spielberg, so
you cannot mention those two without mentioning John Williams, because
he did the music.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, I mean in terms of like making the films, like people always mention Spielberg, but I'm like, well, George Lucas was also involved.
Well, the reason I throw John Williams in there is because he did Star Wars, he did Raiders, I think he did E.T. He did E.T., which was Spielberg.
Close Encounters.
He was everywhere. So I think he's an integral cog in that triumvirate as well. So that was my 4-syllable SAT word for today, ladies and gentlemen. Just look it up.
Well, to bring it back to The Mummy, Stephen Sommers, the guy who wrote it and directed and produced it, said like that's where he got the idea from. He saw Raiders so many times when he was growing up.
Obvious. Yeah, with the sequences. Yeah.
But even like, and we haven't even touched on like some of the horror aspects of this, like the homages to like the 1950s horror flicks and stuff, like The Mummy and Wolfman and things like that. Because like you talked about CGI, like them doing the special effects of showing the mummy coming back to life, like
Right.
that was sick.
He still
Meaning both
looks.
ways. Like
He
it was
still
gross,
looks. He looks
juicy.
juicy.
That was funny to me. I thought that was funny.
I did
I
too.
was like, oh, that's hilarious. I
Or the
thought it
part
was,
where all of them are pointing the guns at each other, and
yeah,
just like, there's other places to dig.
right. That, oh, no, I really like that. It really, they did a nice job with like
Yeah.
the action sequences. It was funny as heck. Like everybody had a lot of really good lines. Like even the sidekicks, like not the sidekicks, but the extras that, the other adventurers, even some of them had some really funny quips and stuff before, cause somebody had to die in that film, right? And so
Yeah.
they were the ones that had to die. So but even like they were like funny,
It was good. I mean, even Jonathon, when he's in the middle of all of the zombified people, like,
Oh God, he just got
Imhotep.
That was so genius. Yeah.
Oh,
Quick thinking on his feet. So
yeah, he's like that Denzel Washington.
He was like,
I'm leaving it with something.
yeah. He wasn't gonna get got. He was like, no, not today.
No. Yeah. He may not be book smart, but he's definitely
Street
like
smart.
like you said, him and Beni had the same thing. They're going to do whatever they had to do in order to survive, and they will take advantage of whoever they can, and they'll use whatever situation they can.
You know what's funny is their cowardice actually made them survivalists, if that makes sense, right? Because they didn't want to die, right? That made them make like those split decisions that.
Oh yeah, they're number one. No matter what the situation is, they will survive. And if they have to kick their brother, sister, their friend out of the door in order to shut the door so they can live, I'll Beni.
Well, Beni wasn't always number one, as we see right here in this next clip.
Hey, O'Connell! It looks to me like I've got all the horses! Hey, Beni! Looks to me like you're on the wrong side of the river! Shit. Get loose!
God, he played that role so masterfully. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, he did. He played it really, really well. And that's the same with Jonathon. Like even Jonathon, when he steals the thing and everything. Now, yes, the guy was magi when they burned when he burned the map, so they couldn't find it. But I love the line with Rick later where he's like, "I'm the map. I have the map. I am the map."
Which so was Beni, right? Which is why the other like adventures were also like paying him, right? Because they were both. I do like that they show that like how it was that Rick and he know each other, right? They did those like flashbacks of him. No explanation as to why they were there shooting at stuff, which is a bunch of soldiers in 1912 Egypt.
Well, he was in the French Foreign Legion.
No, I know, but it's like okay. But
he ran off on his team too. Then didn't he?
Yeah,
well, my thought always is remember like the Magi were up along the top and they were watching. Mm-hmm. So I think what they thought was that the Bedouins were going to attack them. So they ended up in this area as they were traveling through the desert.
Yeah.
And then it just turned, once they turned into Hamunaptra, not knowing what it really was.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Because as you remember, like the Bedouins got to a certain point and then they stopped. They just wouldn't go any further. So, that was out of me. That's the weaker part of the plot. Yeah, but it's simply there to set up that Rick.
No,
and
for
Beni
sure.
always got.
It's set the like it introduces us to Rick. It also introduces us to how Rick and Beni know each other, right?
Right.
And so like, but I also had to look. I forget that the French foreign like legion, like they accept everybody. So like they'll train you, and you're basically mercenaries. So it's like
Most of them were people that were fleeing the law in their country.
And so they're like, come over here, like we'll train you, and you go and like we'll send you to all these places.
You go and do what we want you to do, and you get sent in to do all of that. What I also love is it's just kind of like, it's something that I caught, but it's such a typical American thing. Like Rick's like, oh, so what are you going to do? Take all the money and drop them off in the middle of the desert? He's like, no, I can't. They only gave me half up front, those Americans. Like, okay, they're cowboys, but they're not stupid cowboys. They're not going to give you a whole bunch of money where you can leave them in the middle of the desert.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that. We still haven't done my favorite clip.
Oh, yeah, let's go with that.
Oh, you mean this one, right?
Well, then,
maybe.
Yeah.
You mean this one right here?
Look what I got.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chewie has entered the building.
You know I had to. Oh yeah, like, excuse me. Why don't they like cats?
Oh, man. But all in all, you know what? This is something that we didn't think about. I think we got to come up with a meter. You know, a meter on a scale of X to X of where we're ranking this one.
Oh, in terms of the movies we're going to cover?
Yeah. So let's just.
I'm going to give this one a solid 8.5.
Okay, so well, that already one thing has been established already. It's going to be a 1 to 10 scale, apparently. So a solid 8.5 from Tina. What do we have from you, Delilah?
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8 for sure. Freaking love this.
Give it an 8. I'm going to come in with a 9, and we'll do a little quick math there. That would be 16.5 plus 9 equals 25, which divided 3 ways would give us roughly about an 8. We're going to have to come up with some kind of rating scale, like 8 something or others. 8.
Well, I think we started out with a bang, so this is what we base things off of at this point.
No, I mean, like, if we're doing one, oh, I see where you're going. So this is going to be this
is the baseline.
This is the baseline. So now are we better or are we worse than the Mummy?
Did we like it better or worse than the Mummy? What?
Hey.
Or if it's
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I get it for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, you ladies and gentlemen, you are watching this show unfold before your very eyes. So if you happen to be combing back through the archives 4 or 5 years from later, 4 or 5 years from now, we have like 20, 30,000 subscribers and you guys are watching shows. This is how the scale was developed.
I just made an executive decision.
What's that?
Well, the cat thing, sorry, because I realized Tina asked that, is because the cats were seen as like the ones that keep the dead in the underworld.
That's what they explained in the movie.
They were tied to the goddess Bastet.
That's the other part. Bastet was a cat. She was a female form, but had a cat head. And so she was the protector of family and the hearth and all of that. And so,
and cats were the guardians
also the guardians of the underworld.
And so that's why the mummies, and he were frightened because they were not supposed to be on Earth, right? So it's like it's basic spirit that escaped, right? They're supposed to stay in the underworld. They're not supposed to come back.
And the reason he was scared at that time was because he wasn't fully regenerated yet. He wasn't regenerated yet. Once he got to the point where he's at his full power, then the cat wouldn't have been able to do anything to him. But people are like, I would have carried a cat around on me for the rest of the movie.
I mean, at least the cat will be a good alert system, right? Regardless if it didn't scare the mummy anymore, it would be still a good alert system.
I do think it's a funny scene. The only thing is it's not. Is my only gripe. It's not the correct cat breed for Egypt, but we're not going to be picky.
No.
Well, was that Eve? Was that Evie's cat that she had brought with her, or was that a cat that was there in Egypt?
Nobody knows. They never explained it.
Aha!
Like, why was it in her room? Was that hers? Like, even when they went back, they never explained, like, were her and Jonathon staying in that place when they came back, or did they just go back there? Like, those are like kind of some of the things that when you're watch the movie 25 times for the past 3 days, you start going, huh, okay, well, I guess that went on the cutting room floor because they needed time.
As much of a pain in the butt that Jonathon could be, he really was a good brother to Evie, because even though he thought she was crazy, right? My crazy eccentric sister over here gallivanting across Egypt.
Well, they're family, so like mom and dad were into this, so they. This is even more reminding me even more of the series. It's called the Amelia Peabody series, and it's by a woman called Elizabeth Peters. Yes, I looked that up, everybody. Really good series, but in it, it's a husband and wife show. They have a couple of kids. There is a son. There's an adoptive daughter. So like these two got taken to Egypt every summer with their parents. And he says in it, he's like, I've never found anything of value, but this is worth something, isn't it, Evie?
Yeah.
So like he knew he found something. She just didn't know he took it wrong.
But that's the reason he was there. He was there following his crazy sister.
He was probably looking for some kind of scheme to be able to take some Egyptian artifact back and sell it to a museum.
But he did care about Evie, because like in the second one, right, where like they think like she's not gonna make it, so he did care about his sister. And so like they're twofold. He's there to make some money, but he's also there to make sure his sister's okay.
Yep. Agreed. So I mean, he wasn't the best brother all the time, but he was a brother when it mattered. So
exactly.
that part right there. That part right there. I mean, y'all ladies, y'all made this easy tonight for me, because I really just had to wind both of y'all up and let y'all go, and I could just jump in and go, what Tina said, what Delilah said. So, but I mean, overall, this was.
It's just one of those movies that, like, if you did, like, I don't. How, you said you saw it in the movie theater, Handy.
Right.
Was it something that you had seen on TV and you wanted to see it, or had somebody seen it and said, "Hey, you need to go see this"?
Nah, I saw the previews and I said, "Going."
Okay. Delilah?
Oh.
Yeah, 1999. Maybe I did see it in the movies. I don't remember. I probably did. But I do rewatch it all the time. Like all the time. It's one of my guilty pleasures to kind of put on, and like even if it's in the background while I'm doing other stuff, like it's just a lot. It's a go-to for me.
It's a good
one.
Yeah. It is a good one. You can put it in, you can pop it in and out whenever you want to. And like even the setup for it with the animation and all that stuff that they did, that was really good. And I'm trying to remember what the girl's name that played a Noxuna Moon.
Her name was, oh my God, Patricia Velasquez.
Patricia something.
She's Latina.
Patricia Velasquez.
Yeah, I was like, I know she was Latina.
I think what was the Atlantic City show on HBO? Boardwalk. I think she was in that.
Good show. That was
I didn't know she was in that. Cool.
Yeah.
That was a very good show.
We should do an episode on some of our favorite HBO shows. Hands down, The Wire for me.
Favorite HBO shows? There's too many though, man.
There's
I
a
mean,
lot, but hands down, it's Wire.
You got the Sopranos. You got The Wire.
Idris Elba. That's just Stringer Bell.
Oh God, I forgot who I was talking to.
I was a fan. I know we're going off now.
I was not alluding to that. He was phenomenal in that show as Stringer Bell.
I was a fan of True Blood, but then I didn't like it anymore. Towards like
it jumped the shark at some point.
It jumped the shark in the first season.
Towards the last few seasons, I was like, eh. But like the first few seasons of True Blood, it was really fun, a really kind of cool, like vampire, show.
I read the books.
Yeah, that's
pretty.
Yeah,
it was somewhat true to the books.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that I forget what his name was, the cook's name was, that they kept him alive.
Fantastic.
He was amazing in the show.
Passed away too.
God rest his soul.
Lafayette.
He was funny.
Yep, Lafayette. But like they just took too many liberties with the show towards the end that I was like, no, I can't. I can't watch
I was
this
like,
anymore.
They
turned Bill into an ass.
Yeah. Right, they really did. I was like, I don't like Bill anymore. Like, what are you doing?
Well,
my favorite line, my two favorite lines from that entire series. Lafayette is sitting in a Mercedes. He's like, "Oh, hooker, call me back. I got soft Corinthian leather cradling a budget $60,000 leather seats cradling my black ass. Call me back." And the other one is when Sookie finds out she's a fairy. She's like, "I'm a fucking fairy? How lame is that?" Like those were my two favorite lines in the entire series.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Him and the waitress that they were always messing with each other.
Yeah. I mean, the characters in the books and the characters in the show were really good. It's just that to a point, I was just like, okay, this has just gone.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was like, I feel like the last two seasons, like it's like they did that with Game of Thrones. Like they ruined it. Like after season 6, I was like.
After they ran out of source material,
basically,
is when Game of Thrones started to kind of go off the rails.
It was just those last.
But also, it was worse because they consolidated characters in.
They did.
And so when it came time for some of those things did not make sense and everything.
They did not.
And that's the thing, like everybody's like, George R.R. Martin needs to release the last book. I'm like, he's never going to release the last book.
Y'all made him rich. He doesn't have any motivation.
Well, it's like the first 6 seasons, really great stuff. Like honestly, first 6 seasons again
because they had the source materials.
Really
yeah,
great. Even with the 6 kind of like had to start moving away, but that was still really well done. But 7 and 8 were just like really bad.
The thing that pissed me off, the thing that pissed me off the most about Game of Thrones, they brought the Red Woman out. It is pitch black out. She lights up everybody's torches. I'm like, yay, we're gonna be able to see what's going on the show. And then they all go riding off.
It was so
torches get snuffed.
Oh my god, that last season was so disappointing. I was like, all this build up for the Night King, and that's how he goes out. I was like, what? I was so livid. I was ready to like break my TV, but I'm not Cowboys fans. I'm not breaking TVs. Oops, did I say that?
Huge standout parts in that show was when Peter Baelish realizes that the Stark sisters have his number.
Yeah, but that's fantastic. Yeah,
that whole thing was fantastic. Amazing.
Yeah,
and he was the little Mormon girl.
Yes.
Who stood up in front of all of these men and said, "Get off your asses."
There were things that were really good.
Especially with how it ended up with. Now, I do think Khaleesi probably did go off her rocker. And she did end up doing things that were not, but they didn't build her up the right way.
I think they ruined her arc, and that makes me really mad because Dany in the books is different from Dany on the show.
But there were always, and this will be the clip, is like, but there were always flashes in the book where Dani did lose her temper and do things she shouldn't have done. And so she would, because like the Targaryens
Oh yeah,
and
okay.
everything, because of what, but you know where I'm going, which is, I understand where they were going with that arc. But they decided they wanted to do it in 6 2-hour episodes instead of doing 12 1-hour episodes, that they could arc it better in terms of where he's going.
I don't know. I feel like they turned her into a Mary Sue for after like a few.
But remember, everything, how the show ended is what they told George R.R. Martin how they thought his books would end.
Yeah.
So she had to have ended, because remember, it's a wheel. Power is a wheel. You go up and you come down. So I have a feeling but I loved her character, and I think it was a great character and everything, and it was a good arc. It's just that
I think they ruined her those last couple seasons. They ruined her and Jon Snow's arcs, in my opinion.
Because out of all of them, those are the two characters to not have source material. Because in the books where they're at, Jon Snow hasn't been resurrected.
I know, that's right. Which we know he is going to be, but
they
alluded to him being something else, not what they did on the series.
And they never went back to this thing about the Starks with their dire wolves.
No, they didn't.
And, like,
Lady Stoneheart,
that part of it. And like Bran, if Bran was who Bran was, how he wasn't helped. Well, he could have said, "No, I'm not going to help, because if I help, I change things," and etc. And Bran would be the type of person that would be like,
Listen, the only that I appreciate from the series is the Starks get that's it. Like the Starks get the ultimate like payback on everybody. That's my that's it.
They get the payback for
I'm okay with that. That's the one part that I was okay with. Maybe not where they landed, right? Like the positions they had, but like them actually surviving and reuniting and like getting revenge on their family. That was fantastic. Because then that goes back to like Ned way.
They needed to bring back Lady Stoneheart.
Yeah, but way in the beginning, Ned always telling their kids like, if you're gonna kill a wolf pack, right? If you're gonna kill a wolf pack, that's what I'm saying. You can't leave any wolves alive. You have to kill the whole pack, right? So it kind of goes back to that. But anyway, sorry, we went off script of the Mummy. Anyway, but this was fun. You can see we can cover movies and shows. So who knows what we'll bring you? It might not just be movies.
I think we did movies, TV, and pay-per-view television all at the same time. So next week we're gonna talk about the pay-per-view between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, and then we'll wind up finishing the show talking about Pulp Fiction.
We'll tighten it up. We'll tighten it up.
Ladies and gentlemen,
please
boys,
tell me we're not going to be discussing boxing.
Boxing was an integral part of the plot of Pulp Fiction. That's why what's his name?
Not the part I cared about.
But we're not going to get into that for now. That's another. We're going to save that for another further. Ladies and gentlemen,
seriously, Dinklage.
We appreciate you all tuning in. Roundtable Movie Podcast. Ladies, I appreciate y'all for when I reached out a couple of weeks ago saying I miss you guys and I want to get going before football and doing a little something. I appreciate you giving me a little bit of your time on a Tuesday, which is when we're going to be on when the Roundtable comes back. Don't forget.
We'll still do this, but it'll be different.
Yes, Lutz and Biddle, like kibbles and bits, but different. 10 points of me. You tell me what movie that came from. But hopefully our fourth partner, Mr. Nick Rosario, will be back with us when we come back on. So in the meantime, between time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, y'all have a good evening. We will see you again real soon.